this wasn't planned at all, but here we go. This is the first right here in the movie, the New Year's, and it's about to turn New Year's right now. Happy New Year's, everybody. This is a total coincidence behind me. Yes, I'm spending this alone, but yeah, I just thought that was way too coincidental. I didn't purposely do that at all. It just so happened to match up. So, Happy New Year's.
All right, the most obvious horror movie to watch on New Year's is New Year's Evil. All right. This movie actually has a lot of pretty unique things for the slasher genre, and I will get into that as this goes on. Now, talking about the Blu-ray first, I talked about the last one with Terror Train not being all that amazing. This one is actually much better. This is a really good transfer. So if you haven't picked that up and you do like this movie, I do recommend. It's really, really nice transfer. Now, this movie has its own theme song, which horror movies generally don't get. I mean, some have them, but I like that this one has its own actual New Year's Evil rock ballad song, and that song is very 80s. Now, getting into some of the things that are different than usual, I will point them out as this goes on. But one of the things here is that the final girl, the main protagonist in this film, isn't a good girl. She isn't this innocent, girl who's done nothing wrong and we're supposed to be feeling all this sympathy for. She is a very neglectful mother. And we find out later it appears that she has been unfaithful to her husband as well. So our main girl is not the goody two-shoes that we normally get in these movies. And I like that. I like that there's a lot of changes that are being made for this film to make it stand out on its own. Another thing that these films almost never do, the slasher films of the 80s, is most of them are whodunits. Now, we do kind of get a whodunit at the very end when we find out it is actually her husband that's been doing it the whole time. But we see the killer's face from pretty much minute one. Once we get the killer's perspective, we see him. There's no behind the mask, there's no POV camera, there's none of that stuff. Like, we get an intimate look at this guy, good hard look at him throughout the film. And the performance by this guy is actually really good. He's creepy. He's suave when he needs to be. I really like the actor that they picked for this role. I have to wonder if Mike Myers had checked out this movie. I know that he based his Dr. Evil character off of, the guy, Donald Pleasant's character in the James Bond movie. But this whole, I'm evil just sounded a lot like it. I was laughing when I was listening to it, I wonder if this has anything to do with that. But yeah, so I really enjoy that the killer is on display throughout the film. He's not behind a mask. He's not hidden in the shadows. We're not seeing everything from his perspective through his eyes. We do get to find out who the killer is instantaneously. His plan is ridiculous. Now, I do like, actually I should say, I love the premise of this film because, even a movie like let's take a movie like Halloween or, Halloween is a perfect example where they take a holiday horror theme. Now, granted, when John Carpenter and Deborah Hill wrote the script for Halloween, they called it The Babysitter Murders, and it didn't take place on Halloween, and he was talked into making it take place on Halloween, so he didn't really have the holiday be part of the plot. Halloween 3 actually has the most to do with Halloween itself. And a lot of these holiday horror films, they can just set it on that day and it doesn't really play into the plot at all. This one does, very much so. Like, he is, this chick is, you know, a celeb fucking announcer or TV host or whatever, and she's doing the countdown all across the country, and he's killing people at midnight. That is part of his plan, and I love that that is included. Like, we get like 4 New Year's countdowns within this movie, and every one of them has a kill in it. That's a really cool concept that they came up with here. Now, what's ludicrous about his plan is, you know, not only does he have to bank on her friends being single and slutty, he gets the first girl in 10 minutes, and he gets the next girl in 30 minutes. But they have to be alone. They have to come with him. Like, he just so happens to walk into the hospital, and that girl's by herself coming to him, and he talks her into fucking going into a room with her and taking her blouse off and start, you know, giving in to having sex with him within 10 minutes. And then the next girl, he has to go to the bar, and she's not talking with anybody else, and he talks her to leave. Like, what was his plan B in this scenario? Like, what if the girls weren't into him? And these are her friends, and they don't know what her husband looks like? Like, these are people she knows, and they don't know who he is? Maybe he doesn't wear a disguise for the first girl. He wears a mustache for the second girl. One of the worst mustaches I've ever seen. How she bought that shit, I don't know. I'm not talking sleepaway camp, cop, painted on mustache. Bad, but it's horrible. But his plan is ridiculous. Like, what was his backup plan if these girls weren't easy? If these girls didn't want anything to do with him? If these girls were already talking to dudes? If these are like, is he gonna gag them and pull them out of a bar in front of everybody? Was he gonna, you know, take her in the hospital? And who was the third person? We don't even know. Was it another chick that he was gonna try to seduce? Like, man, this guy is good. He reminds me of James Bond. The girls end up also dying, just like James Bond. Maybe he's a 00 agent. That would explain how he got into the building. Incompetent police, man. I bet if you're a police officer, you hate movies because they make police officers look like doofuses in the majority of these. But yeah, moving on. And just, there's so many funny things in this. Like, the fact that he kills this girl, the girl in the car, and he sends her friend in to buy the biggest bottle of champagne. It looked like she got $95 in change. I'm going to have to rewatch that. So I'm not sure what bottle of champagne she bought when he gave her a $100 bill. But she then goes and follows a breadcrumb of shoes and whatnot to a trash can that he just so happens to be hiding in. He had to bank on her even following that, and also not looking like into the trash can itself before fully opening up the lid. Like, you can see the actress actually like opens it up and looks like this instead of like peeking in, like, because she would have obviously seen him. There's just so many things that are convenient, and the fact that, like, another horror movie trope that even Halloween, I always bring it up, but even Halloween has, is the discovery of the bodies by people and how convenient the timing of their bodies falling, or in this instance, sliding down a slide for the cops. Like, the cops didn't see a body up there on the side. He's just focusing on the little purse the whole time, and just so happens it's a movie. It's meant to scare us. Oh, and yet another thing, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know what I'm about to bitch about. What is the thing that always fucking annoys me in these movies? A cat being thrown out the screen. It comes out of the trash cans at the cops, just like in Halloween 2. And just like in every other fucking movie. With the cat already. Stop! Jesus. Fuck with that. So stupid. Why? I also really like that the killer isn't just impervious in this movie to outside interference. Like, he is out there driving, and he gets in an altercation with a biker gang, runs into the back of them, and actually has to go out, and they're on hot pursuit after him, and he hides in a fucking drive-in movie theater, and he has to improvise and grab a different girl because the person he was supposed to be going after, now he can't get to in time, so he has to go, and he kills one of the bikers. Like, we don't get to see that in slasher movies much. Like, the slasher is always, up until the very end, unable to harm. He never gets into any trouble. He's always hiding in the right places. Like, this guy, he's just out there. Yes, his plan is ridiculous. He's just kind of playing it by, you know, the seat of his pants. He's just on a whim. And I guess it just works out for him. So maybe he's insane. Maybe he just doesn't have a backup plan. Maybe he just grabs someone random. But he specifically said it will be people you know. And I love that there's a biker gang out for him, that he has to try to escape them, that he has to kill one of them, that he has to steal another car, that he has to settle for a different victim that's in the back seat. Why the fuck the girl didn't get out of the car the second he tried to jack it? The boyfriend got out instantly. Why the girl didn't, I don't understand that. Because she did then later. She's scared, I get it, but like, he stops and these guys walk in front of him and she gets out of the car and runs away. And it's like, why didn't you do that at the drive-in with your boyfriend there with many more witnesses and people to protect you? It's so silly, but whatever. And I love, you know, and she's actually she's probably the most sympathetic character in this movie. I actually felt genuinely bad for this girl. Not only was she just making out with her boyfriend and being an innocent girl. Yes, the other two were innocent too, or two. She killed a few people. Biker wasn't so innocent, but the other victims were. But this girl, I don't know. She was so young and so innocent, feeling like she wasn't. I don't know. The way she offered herself to him was just like, we can get it on if you want. Like, I won't fight you or I won't put up a fuss or fight or something. The way she said that genuinely made me feel awful for her. Like, I wanted to fucking kill that guy in that moment. Like, this poor, sweet little girl, you fucking prick. And I love that she gets away. Like, he does not succeed on his third victim during that Colorado countdown or whatever. That's surprising. You don't get that much. Like, this killer succeeds and they really don't even address it. It's like he fucking misses it. The cop comes up, he saves the girl, he runs away, and he just gets on with his plan. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this guy is just, he has a plan, but it's so on a whim that he's just running around like a fucking maniac like these people are. So I like that he's not just a perfect killing machine. He's flawed like he would be. But yeah, and then we find out that it's the husband, which is fine. I mean, it's pretty obvious when they're like, he's in Palm Springs or whatever. You know it's going to be him even before they show him before anything. So you're just like, oh, it's the husband. I mean, and you think that's going to be like a red herring, and it's like, nope, it's not. But getting back to like the neglectful son, like, she neglects her son to the point of insanity. The father fucking kills himself, and she then ends up, you know, paying the piper. Like, she fucking screwed this guy over and screwed him up, and he's got dad's genes, so he's already got a predisposition to snap at any given moment. She's ignored him enough, and she straight up ignored this kid in the beginning. Man, it was bad. And I mean, does she deserve to die? No, but she fucking snaps too. He sees his dad go, and it's not that far-fetched. I mean, it is far-fetched, don't get me wrong, but it's not that far-fetched to believe that he would. I also liked the creativity of his attempt at killing her, like tying her under a fucking elevator shaft, putting her all the way up, and then wants to drop the elevator on top. Just ridiculous. I love it. That's such an like, why didn't you just stab her or anything? Like, no, it has to be elaborate. Even though I killed everyone else with just a little slice of the neck, like, you get the coup de grace. You get the big grand finale. So I really like that as well. All right, guys. New Year's is over. I'll save the other New Year's movies that I was going to do this year for next year. I mean, shit, I can't do them all. Otherwise, I won't have any for next year. So I'll just save those. Anyway, guys, Happy New Year. Thank you for supporting my channel. I hope that my channel can, persist and go on throughout this next year and become even bigger. Not because I'm looking to become famous or something stupid like that, but because I genuinely enjoy doing this. And, your guys' feedback and everything is why I do it. So, all right, guys. Happy New Year, for real. And I will see you next year, although technically it already is. All right, bye.